Am I the a-hole for kicking my girlfriend out after an argument? Throw away, since people I know my main. So adoption is pretty common in my family. I probably have more adopted cousins than biological ones, though I can't say for sure since it really doesn't matter in my family. My 22 male, younger brother, 15 male, was adopted by my parents when he was 7. Our dads were close and he used to come round a lot. His parents split when he was about 5 due to his mom's drug problem, and she ended up in jail a few months later because of it. His dad then passed due to medical issues when he was 7, and my parents took him in because he would have gone into the system. So he's lived with us since I was 14, and I do see him as my little brother and we are family. His bio mom is still around but isn't allowed to see him. The problem comes in with my girlfriend. We have been together for 2 years and we've met each other's families and we have gotten in great with them. About a month ago she came to me complaining about how her sister is adopting. Saying it was cheating, especially since she doesn't have any fertility issues. I told her that it doesn't matter if the kid is adopted or not and that my brother is adopted. She didn't say anything else to me about it after that. However, she has stopped calling my brother, she just calls him by his name. Yesterday she and her friend, who is also my friend and introduced us, and was talking about she is so happy that my parents will be her in-laws. He agreed and said that my parents and my brother would make great in-laws. She then corrected him and told him that my brother wouldn't be her in-law since he's adopted. He had no idea how to respond and ended up telling me about it. This caused an argument between us, with me saying my brother is my brother and her insisting that he isn't and that there is a difference. She told me to sleep somewhere else that night. I told her no, this is my home too, and if she has the issue she should sleep somewhere else. This caused her to scream at me, calling me manipulative and abusive before leaving to sleep at her parents'. Her dad, who I really get along with, has asked to speak with me, and I've gotten some aggressive messages from some other members of her family. I didn't think I was in the wrong, but with so many people upset with me I think I might be. I brought it up, so maybe I should have left. So am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. I don't see this relationship surviving this. She doesn't see adoption as being a viable path into a family. The comment about cheating because her sister can give birth to a biological child but doesn't want to? Frankly, I think your GF is a huge a-hole. Family is family. Doesn't have to be connected by blood. Family is who you choose. Am I the a-hole for not talking to my mother in LA after she insisted my daughter not sign at the dinner table? I, 29 female, have a daughter, 6 female, from a previous relationship. Her father has no contact with her, and my husband of 2 years, 30 male, is the closest to a father she has ever known. My daughter was born deaf and communicates via BSL. I am fluent, having learned alongside her, and my husband, while not fluent, is getting there as he wants to be able to communicate with her fully and also help teach any children we have together to communicate with their older sister. We went to his parents for an Easter dinner. His siblings and nieces/nephews were all there, and we of course brought my daughter. All the kids were very happy to get plenty of chocolate and play together. The issue rose, however, during dinner, as my daughter kept putting her fork and knife down to sign with me and my husband to talk. It was causing her to eat slower than everyone else, and my mother-in-law asked me to tell her to not sign at the dinner table as the food was going to get cold, plus it was setting a bad example and distracting for the other kids. I won't beat around the bush. I got angry. I told my mother-in-law that this is how my daughter communicates and I'm not going to make her not sign. I did encourage my daughter to continue eating before her dinner got cold, but to not sign? No. That pisses me off and makes me think of people who have tried to make my daughter play the quiet hands game, aka not sign. I told my mother-in-law the only way she could ask that of my daughter is if she told everyone else not to talk at all. We ended up leaving a little early, and my husband, while supportive of me, has tried to tell me that his mother didn't mean any real harm and she doesn't get why this would be a sensitive topic. I've refused to speak to my mother-in-law since that dinner and won't until she apologizes. My husband thinks I'm being a bit too harsh and I need to be the one to reach out with an olive branch on this matter, but I can't help but feel if this had been her biological grandchild who was deaf, she wouldn't have said something so insensitive or implied it was a distraction and bad example. I don't know, maybe I'm too defensive as it's my child and I'm protective. What do you all think? Not the a-hole. If the other children are allowed to talk at the table, but mother-in-law expects your daughter to sit without communicating, your mother-in-law is a massive a-hole. Am I the a-hole going against my wife and letting my daughter ruin Easter? My wife, Lillian, 48, and I, 37, have 5 daughters, 17, 13, 6, twins 3. Lillian and her family take clothes very seriously. They always coordinate their outfits when doing family get-togethers and think it's important to bond as a family and photos and stuff. I personally think it's a bit silly, but I usually just go along with whatever Lillian decides. Our eldest is just like Lillian when it comes to clothes, and the younger 3 don't really care. However, our 13-year-old, Charlotte, has started to get really self-conscious about clothes and fashion, and her style is definitely different from her mother. This has caused some issues between them, but I've mostly convinced Lillian to allow her to dress herself as she wants. For Easter, Lillian wanted us all to dress up in Easter-themed clothes. The rest of her family did, and it is important to her. However, Charlotte just refused. She didn't want to wear the Easter clothes because she felt it was too childish and ugly basically. They argued about it and it was both petty and going nowhere, so I intervened and basically allowed Charlotte to wear what she wants, as long as it's appropriate. We spent the day with my wife's family and it was really good. The girls had a lot of fun with their cousins and probably too much chocolate. Though my mother and sister-in-law did criticize Charlotte's clothes, though only to my wife and I, not to Charlotte. After we got home, Lillian was pretty angry I went against her. She said we were meant to be a united front, and that I had no right to interfere with her decision. She says Charlotte is part of the family and has to act like it. Her family did judge us for it, but honestly it's just some clothes. I don't see why it's such a big deal. If Charlotte hates M, she shouldn't have to wear it, I think. But Lillian is still pissed at me for ruining her family Easter. My best friend thinks they're being ridiculous, but says I should have backed my wife up anyways. I feel like I'm going crazy with how seriously everyone is taking all this. Am I really wrong to just let Charlotte choose for herself? Or should I have just let my wife decide? At a certain stage of their development, kids stop wanting to be their parents' little dress-up mannequins and photo props and assert their individuality. As long as the clothes are appropriate for the situation, it shouldn't be a big damn deal. Not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for asking my boyfriend's mother to teach me how to take care of / style his daughter's hair? I'm a 28-year-old woman of Japanese descent and am preparing to move in with my boyfriend of 3 years who is a 34-year-old man of African descent. He is a widower and has a 7-year-old daughter. She is a sweet girl and I am very fond of her. Since I will be living with them, I thought it was a good idea to reach out to his mother to ask if she'd help me learn how to take care of / style his daughter's hair, as there may be some days she wants or needs help and I've never dealt with hair that has her texture. I wouldn't want to know nothing. Perhaps I could have asked my boyfriend, but let's be honest, a woman with that hair texture is more likely to know better style / tricks and all over prettier looks. I even suggested to her that I could buy a mannequin head with a similar hair texture to his daughter's to practice on. His mother got upset with me and told me that it's not my place to want to learn to style her grandchild's hair and that it's a bonding experience for them whenever she does her hair and I shouldn't try and step on that. I apologized immediately but explained I wasn't trying to take that away from her, I just thought it was a good thing to know in case it ever comes up or she asks for help. His mother insists it's not appropriate for me to want to take care of her hair and has even told my boyfriend what I asked, and while he doesn't think what I've done is bad, he has said I should probably just leave this for his mother. I'm a little upset by this. I was just trying to have my bases covered and be able to help if she ever needs it. Was it maybe insensitive of me to ask to learn? Not the a-hole. You're trying to take an interest in the child, and that's admirable. The grandmother is just being possessive because she sees it as their time. But she won't always be around. YouTube is your friend. You can learn all kinds of things there, so I'd assume learning how to style African hair would be no different. Good luck. Am I the a-hole for how I reacted to my niece saying her dream job was to be a trophy wife like me? My niece is 17, so she started thinking about her career / university. Yesterday, the family was asking her if she had decided what she wanted to do with her life. She told them her dream job was the same job as my job. Everyone assumed she meant she wanted to work in marketing because that's what I'm currently doing. My niece said that's not what she wants to do and she wanted to be a trophy wife. Admittedly, this is a sore spot for me because a lot of my extended family went from treating me like someone who had worked hard to get where I currently am to a glorified trophy wife the second I got married. My parents did call her out for what she said, but my niece said her dad said that's what I was. I got annoyed and I ended up calling my brother-in-law and telling my niece I didn't think it was a realistic dream for her. My sister is upset with me for what I said to my niece and claims that her husband was only joking. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Let's face it, your sister is upset because she and her husband got caught badmouthing you and are covering their embarrassment by getting mad at you. What they should be doing is apologizing to you for talking shit about you behind your back. As far as what you told your niece and your brother-in-law, it was entirely appropriate. What did your sister expect you to say? That they were correct and what they said was fine? Her husband was not joking. I was just joking is the mating call of the a-hole when they get caught.